Hello, everyone. Today, we're diving into an incredible project set in the heart of nature. It's a stunning bamboo house built over a small stream in the forest. Let's explore every step of this fascinating construction together. A man sets off on a journey deep into the forest, following the winding paths of small streams that meander through the dense greenery. After wandering for some time, he comes across a serene spot where a gentle stream flows gracefully over smooth, weathered rocks. Without hesitation, he decides to settle here. He starts by surveying the area carefully, visualizing how the house will take shape in harmony with the environment. Then, he begins the first crucial step, gathering sturdy, large wooden logs from the forest. To start building the foundation, he selects 2 long, sturdy logs and carefully places them across the stream, spanning from one bank to the other. Once the beams are securely positioned, he gathers more wooden logs and lays them horizontally across the 2 large beams. Taking a large bamboo stalk, he skillfully splits it into thin, flexible strips using a sharp knife. These bamboo strips will serve as durable ties, replacing synthetic materials and staying true to the natural aesthetic of the house. With precision and patience, he uses the bamboo ties to fasten the smaller logs securely to the 2 main beams, ensuring they won't shift or come loose over time. Each knot he ties demonstrates his resourcefulness and expertise in traditional construction techniques, blending practicality with an appreciation for nature's materials. To reinforce the structure further, he adds a crossbeam beneath the framework, positioned in the middle between the 2 main beams. This crossbeam serves as additional support, distributing the weight more evenly and increasing the stability of the floor. He erects for sturdy wooden posts at each corner of the foundation, starting from the central crossbeam and extending outward to one side of the large horizontal beams. He positions the posts carefully to form a square-shaped framework. Next, he begins adding horizontal beams across each pair of vertical posts, positioning them slightly higher than the floor frame. These additional crossbeams will form the upper part of the house's floor. At this point in the build, he turns to bamboo an essential material for the structure. He carefully selects several long bamboo stalks from the surrounding forest, bringing them back to the construction site. With a saw in hand, he begins to cut the bamboo into shorter, more manageable lengths, each piece tailored to fit the specific needs of the house. After cutting the bamboo into sections, he sets about removing the nodes, or joints, from each segment. Using a sharp knife, he scrapes away the knobby ends of the bamboo, smoothing them down until the surface is perfectly even. Once the bamboo is clean and prepped, he carefully splits each piece down the middle, creating 2 thin, flexible strips from each original segment. He then takes a sharp knife and carefully creates grooves along the length of each bamboo section. As he carves these grooves, he works slowly and with great care, making sure not to split or damage the bamboo, ensuring that each piece remains intact and stable. Once the grooves are finished, he proceeds to split each bamboo stalk lengthwise. He carefully places each split bamboo piece onto the structure, arranging them side by side in a neat, organized pattern. To secure the bamboo strips in place, he uses the bamboo ties once again. After securing the bamboo strips, he begins the next phase, laying down the larger bamboo planks that he had previously prepared. These planks are placed over the surface of the floor, creating a smooth, continuous surface. As he works, he continues to tie the bamboo planks securely to the frame, using the bamboo strips to hold them in place. After completing the main floor, he moves on to the next step, laying bamboo planks along the lower edge of the floor frame, around the perimeter of the structure. As he works, he makes sure that each plank is aligned perfectly, securing them with bamboo ties just as he did for the interior floor. Next, he shifts his focus to the vertical posts that form the framework of the house. Carefully, he begins to secure each piece of wood, placing the long, sturdy logs horizontally across the pairs of posts. These logs are positioned at a height just above head level, forming the foundation for the second floor of the house. Once the logs are in place, he moves on to the next phase, laying bamboo crossbeams across the newly installed horizontal logs. These bamboo strips will form the second floor platform, just as he did for the first. He then placed 2 logs leaning from the ground to the second floor and fixed some horizontal logs to create a simple staircase. He carefully brings the bamboo pieces up to the second floor frame, placing each piece onto the newly constructed platform. One by one, he arranges the bamboo logs across the framework, making sure each piece fits perfectly and is aligned with the others. Once the bamboo logs are in place, he secures them tightly with bamboo ties, wrapping them around the joints to ensure that they are fixed securely to the frame. The floor for the second level begins to take shape, with each bamboo piece contributing to a solid foundation. Next, he prepares several bamboo planks, carefully crafted and smoothed, just as he did for the first floor. With these planks ready, he begins to place them on top of the bamboo logs, creating the surface for the second floor. He arranges the bamboo planks neatly across the frame, ensuring they are tightly packed together. Once positioned, he uses more bamboo ties to secure the planks in place, wrapping the cords tightly around each piece to fasten them securely to the frame and to each other. He prepared for more logs. He fixed them vertically to the 4 corners of the second floor from the top of the first floor pillars to form the second floor pillar frame. Once the logs are positioned, he secures them in place by tightly binding them to the post below. Using strong bamboo ties, he wraps the cords around each joint, ensuring that the vertical posts are firmly fixed to the structure. He carefully selects for long, sturdy horizontal beams and positions them across the tops of the 4 vertical posts. He secures them firmly by tying them to the vertical posts with bamboo cords. With the horizontal beams in place, he begins constructing the roof frame. Using several other pieces of wood, he starts to form a frame structure for the roof. These angled beams are secured at the top with bamboo ties, creating the central ridge of the roof. He measures the length of the slanted roof carefully to ensure that the bamboo pieces he cuts will fit perfectly. Using a saw, he cuts several long bamboo poles into shorter sections to match the length of the roof slope. Once the bamboo is cut, he takes each piece and, with a sharp knife, splits them lengthwise into 2 halves. He then carefully removes all the joints and internal nodes from the bamboo, smoothing them out. By doing this, he creates hollow bamboo tubes that will act as rain channels, forming a gutter-like system to guide water off the roof. With the necessary bamboo pieces prepared, he moves them up to the roof structure. He begins placing each piece onto the slanted roof, laying them with the smooth, flat side facing up. The rounded side of the bamboo is positioned downward, fitting into the spaces between the previous pieces. This overlapping pattern helps to create a solid and watertight surface for the roof. At the lower edge of the roof, he adds a row of bamboo halves, positioning them along the edge to form a gutter. This bamboo gutter will channel rainwater off the roof and away from the house. Finally, at the peak of the roof, he places a single bamboo pole, laying it upside down along the ridge where the 2 slanted sections meet. He starts by securing horizontal bamboo poles above and below the vertical posts of the second floor frame. He carefully places the horizontal poles along the top and bottom of each section of the wall, connecting them to the vertical posts. With the basic framework of the walls in place, he begins constructing the wall panels. He starts by taking thin bamboo strips and arranging them horizontally along the rectangular frame. These strips form the base of each wall panel, creating a sturdy grid that will serve as the foundation for the rest of the wall. Next, he places additional bamboo strips diagonally across the frame, arranging them in a slanted direction. These angled strips add strength and stability to the panel, reinforcing the overall structure. The diagonal placement also creates a visually appealing crisscross pattern that will become the main design feature of the wall. He repeats this process for each wall panel, carefully weaving the bamboo strips in alternating diagonal directions to create several interconnected panels. Once the bamboo panels are complete, he begins attaching them to the wall frames. He starts with the first wall, carefully placing 3 vertical bamboo panels in position along the frame. For the next wall, he adds more structure. He places the horizontal bamboo logs across the frame, creating 3 rectangular sections. After securing the horizontal beams, he continues by attaching the bamboo panels to the top and bottom of the wall. These panels fit snugly within the frame, covering the horizontal bamboo beams and adding to the strength of the structure. He arranges 2 smaller square frames along the outer edges of the wall, while leaving a square gap in the center. Moving on to the next wall, he starts by placing the large bamboo panels side by side, leaving a large square opening in the middle. This open space is intended to serve as the main entrance to the house, allowing easy access to the interior. The panels are securely attached to the frame, leaving the central gap for the door. Next, he constructs 2 rectangular wooden door frames. He carefully measures and cuts the pieces of wood to fit the dimensions of the door openings. Once the frames are assembled, he begins covering them with bamboo strips. For this, he arranges the bamboo pieces in a diagonal pattern, ensuring that they are tightly packed together without leaving any gaps. This method creates a dense, solid surface that will form the door panels. He moves to the entrance and places the 2 door panels into the wooden frames. He secures the top and bottom of each door to the frame using bamboo ties, ensuring that the doors are stable, but can still swing open. With the doors in place, he moves on to the next step, filling in the remaining gaps in the second floor walls. He takes the leftover bamboo panels and begins to carefully fit them into the empty spaces between the frames. He continues by cutting the bamboo poles into shorter sections, carefully measuring each piece to ensure that they will fit perfectly around the perimeter of the second floor balcony. After preparing the bamboo, he carries the pieces up to the second floor, where they will be used to create a protective railing for the balcony. He starts by placing the shorter bamboo sections along the edge of the second floor platform. These pieces are arranged horizontally, following the contour of the floor's perimeter. Once the horizontal bamboo pieces are secured, he begins the next step, installing vertical bamboo posts. He arranges the vertical posts at regular intervals along the railing, ensuring they are evenly spaced and aligned with the horizontal bamboo. He prepares several bamboo poles to create a staircase that will connect the first and second floors. To begin, he arranges for bamboo poles, placing them in pairs at a specific angle to create the base of the stairs. Once the bamboo poles are positioned at the desired angle, he secures them in place by attaching shorter bamboo pieces to form the frame of each step. After securing the frame for each step, he begins placing thin bamboo strips across the frames to form the stair treads. These strips are arranged side by side, tightly packed together to create a smooth, stable surface for walking. The bamboo strips are securely fastened to the frame, ensuring that the stairs are both strong and reliable. He continues building the staircase from the bottom up, carefully adding each new step as he goes. He begins placing thin bamboo strips vertically along the side of the stairs. These strips are forming a continuous wall that runs from the bottom to the top of the staircase. Moving to the first floor, he begins constructing the walls by placing vertical bamboo poles into the frame. These bamboo poles are arranged to form rectangular sections, creating the basic structure for the walls. Once the vertical bamboo poles are in place, he begins adding horizontal bamboo strips. These strips are inserted into each rectangular frame, starting from the bottom and working his way upward. The horizontal strips are tightly placed, fitting snugly between the vertical poles, and are secured with bamboo ties to keep them in position. As he continues, the walls begin to take shape, section by section. Each frame of bamboo is reinforced as he adds more horizontal strips, and the space between the bamboo pieces gradually fills in. Reaching the main wall, he constructs the walls on either side of the door frame, leaving a rectangular opening in the center for the main entrance. The two walls are built just like the others, with vertical bamboo poles forming the outer frame and horizontal bamboo strips filling in the sections between them. He arranges bamboo poles to form two rectangular door frames. Next, he adds horizontal bamboo strips across the door frames to create the door panels. These strips are placed in even intervals to form a grid pattern, giving the doors both structure and aesthetic appeal. The bamboo strips are tightly secured with bamboo ties to ensure the door panels are sturdy and will not move. Once the door panels are complete, he attaches them to the door frame. He carefully positions the two doors in the rectangular opening, ensuring they swing smoothly. He begins placing thin bamboo strips vertically, positioning them closely together to cover the space between the first floor surface and the outside platform. He prepares several more bamboo poles and carefully drills evenly spaced holes along the length of each bamboo pole. He then begins securing these bamboo poles along the edge of the outside platform frame, ensuring that the holes are facing upward. Next, he inserts smaller bamboo pieces vertically into the holes he created in the long bamboo poles. Once the vertical bamboo pieces are positioned, he attaches a final horizontal bamboo pole on top, securing it across the top of the vertical poles. This top bamboo piece holds the vertical supports in place, completing the rectangular frame of the railing. He continues by cutting several long wooden logs into shorter pieces, preparing them for the next step in the construction. The logs are carefully measured and sawed to the desired length, ensuring each piece is suitable for its specific purpose in the structure. He continues by cutting several wooden logs into short pieces, carefully selecting the ones he wants to use. Afterward, he sharpens the ends of some of the wooden logs, preparing them to be used as vertical posts. Once the posts are securely in place, he places two long wooden beams across the tops of the posts, extending from the edge of the outside platform to the top of the vertical posts. To keep the beams in place, he ties them firmly using small bamboo ropes. The bamboo ties are wrapped tightly around the beams and posts, providing extra stability to the newly created framework. He brings the prepared bamboo poles to the new platform frame and begins laying them across the framework, placing them at even intervals. Each bamboo pole is carefully aligned, ensuring a uniform pattern across the surface. He works meticulously to ensure that the bamboo is positioned correctly, forming a stable and level foundation for the next part of the structure. Once all the bamboo poles are positioned, he secures them in place by tying them down to the cross beams using small bamboo ropes. After securing the bamboo poles, he uses a saw to trim any excess bamboo that extends beyond the edges of the frame. With the bamboo laid down and the excess trimmed, the new part of the platform is now stable, smooth, and properly secured. He begins by cutting the long bamboo poles into shorter, manageable pieces using a saw. Each piece is carefully measured to ensure it will fit perfectly with the structure. He then takes a sharp knife and carefully creates grooves along the length of each bamboo section. As he carves these grooves, he works slowly and with great care, making sure not to split or damage the bamboo, ensuring that each piece remains intact and stable. Once the grooves are finished, he proceeds to split each bamboo stalk lengthwise with a sharp tool. This cut transforms the bamboo sections into flat, smooth panels, effectively turning the cylindrical bamboo into sturdy bamboo planks. After splitting the bamboo into planks, he uses a knife to carefully shave off the inner nodes of the bamboo. This step is essential to ensure that the bamboo planks are completely smooth and flat. Once the bamboo planks are securely tied to the wooden frame, he begins arranging the bamboo panels he prepared earlier on top of the floor frame. Carefully, he places each panel one by one across the frame. With each bamboo panel placed, he takes thin bamboo strips and arranges them horizontally across the panels. He placing 3 long bamboo poles, one by one, from the edge of the new platform to the opposite side on the ground. These poles will serve as the main framework for the bridge. Once the main poles are in place, he begins laying thinner bamboo strips across the framework to form the surface of the bridge. The bamboo strips are then securely tied down to the framework using thin bamboo ropes. He places short bamboo poles vertically at the edges of the new platform, ensuring they are evenly spaced and positioned firmly in place. Next, he lays longer bamboo poles across the top of the vertical posts, positioning them at a height that reaches just below the knee, creating the frame for the railing. Once the main structure of the railing is in place, he uses thin bamboo strips to weave intricate X patterns between the vertical posts. After finishing the railing for the platform, he moves on to building a similar railing for the bridge. He repeats the process of adding vertical bamboo posts, securing long horizontal poles across them. He brings over bamboo pieces of the appropriate size to the new platform, preparing them for furniture construction. First, he starts by building a rectangular frame for a table. He arranges the bamboo poles carefully to form the base and legs of the table, making sure each piece is securely positioned. Once the frame is complete, he begins placing thin bamboo strips across the surface of the frame to form the tabletop. The bamboo strips are arranged evenly, creating a solid, smooth surface. He ties each strip in place with thin bamboo ropes, ensuring the tabletop is firmly attached and ready for use. After finishing the table, he moves on to building a chair. He starts by constructing a backrest frame using longer bamboo poles, carefully measuring the height and angle to ensure comfort. Once the backrest is in place, he begins laying thin bamboo strips across the frame to create the seat and the backrest surface. The bamboo strips are arranged in a parallel pattern, and each one is securely fastened to the frame with bamboo ties. The result is a sturdy, comfortable chair, providing both support and functionality. With the table and chair now complete, he has successfully added the central furniture pieces to the bamboo house, each made with the same attention to detail and craftsmanship as the rest of the structure. He gathers additional bamboo pieces, selecting those with the right thickness and flexibility for his next task. Using a sharp knife, he carefully splits the bamboo into thin strips, ensuring each strip is evenly sized. Once the strips are separated, he smooths them with precision. Next, he selects another bamboo segment and begins splitting it into thin strips as well. But this time, he doesn't cut them all the way through. With this framework in place, is intertwining the strips to form the body of a long basket-like structure. After completing one basket, he repeats the process to create a second, identical trap. Carrying the completed traps, he walks to the nearby stream. Carefully, he places them in the water, positioning them strategically where fish are likely to pass through. The flowing stream helps guide fish into the traps, turning his simple yet effective creations into tools for catching food. He takes a sharpened wooden stick and uses it to dig up some soil from the ground. Working methodically, he gathers enough earth to prepare his next project. After collecting the soil, he mixes it with water, adding small amounts at a time until it forms a thick, sticky consistency. He kneads the mixture with his hands, ensuring it is well blended and pliable for shaping. He walks over to a bamboo workbench. The bench includes a rectangular bamboo frame designed to hold the earthen mixture. Carefully, he begins packing the mud into the frame. Using his hands, he smooths the surface, spreading the mixture evenly across the frame to create a compact, rectangular fire pit structure. He places small branches inside the newly built fire pit and lights a small fire, ensuring it burns steadily. He heads to the nearby stream to check on the traps he had set earlier. Carefully pulling each trap out of the water, he finds that one of them has successfully caught a large fish. Pleased with the catch, he carries the traps and the fish back to the house. Upon returning, he empties the trap to reveal the large, wriggling fish. He quickly secures the fish by tying it to a split bamboo skewer, ensuring it is firmly held in place. With the fish prepped, he places it directly over the fire pit he had recently built. The flames crackle and dance as the fish begins to cook. Using thin bamboo strips he had prepared earlier, he carefully weaves them together, creating a tightly woven basket. When the fish is finally cooked to perfection, it's golden, crispy skin glistening. He removes it from the skewer and places it on the bamboo table. Sitting down on the chair he had crafted earlier, he takes a moment to appreciate the fruits of his labor. The aroma of the roasted fish and the peaceful ambience of the forest make the meal even more satisfying. As he enjoys the fish, the table, chair, and fire pit all serve as reminders of his resourcefulness and craftsmanship, making the experience not just a meal, but a celebration of living harmoniously with nature.